Number 1. All growing up, my dad was a semi-truck driver. He drove full-time, all over the country. We didn't get to see him very often, but he used to call home almost every night. And in the summers, my sister and I got to travel with him for a week or two. We call it trucking. This story happened when I was really little, probably 4 or so, and I don't really remember it. I was trucking with my dad, and he was experiencing some minor engine trouble. Before he was a truck driver, my dad was a mechanic and did most of his own truck repairs. He pulled over in a small truck stop to work on the truck. There was a tree next to the parking lot, so he sat me down underneath it with my doll, and he worked on the truck right next to me. It was really hot, and he was laying underneath the hot truck and blacked out. Who knows how long he was out? He was having a heat stroke. He finally came to with a splitting headache. He looked over the tree to check on me, and I was still just sitting there playing with my doll. But there was a guy creeping up behind me, reaching out to grab me. I don't know how, but with the little energy my dad had left, he jumped out from under the truck, yelling and swinging whatever tool he had nearby. The guy ran off, and my dad collapsed. A lady working inside the truck stopped and saw the whole thing and came running out. She got me and my dad inside and took care of me while he cooled down. I don't know what would have happened if my dad hadn't woken up when he did. Creepy truck stop, dude. Let's never meet again. Number 2. I grew up in rural Michigan, and I rode the bus to school every morning. We lived in a house at the bottom of a hill on a country road. My bus stop, however, was at the top of the hill after you passed my house. The story I'm about to tell happened when I was about 7 or 8 years old. I woke up one morning and got ready for school like I usually did. My bus picked me up around 7 a.m., right when the sun was starting to come up a little. But there were still spots of darkness deep in the woods. I was the only kid who was picked up at my bus stop, so I would stand at the edge of the woods and wait until the bus came. My mom or dad would have to drop me off about 5 minutes before the bus came, and hightail it to work in order to make it there by 8 o'clock. It's not that they felt completely comfortable doing this, but they didn't have many options. We live in a safe area, or so we thought. And the bus arrived on time 99% of the time. So they weren't too worried that anything will happen to me in 5 minutes. So I'm standing there, cold as shit, waiting on the bus to come, watching the sun rise slowly in the sky. It's still a little dark out, but yet bright enough for me to see what's around me. I saw the lights of the bus in the distance, on time as usual, and it came to a stop right in front of me. My bus driver, Mrs. Teresa, opened the door and said, "Good morning," and gestured for me to hop on. I walked to my seat, put my stuff down, but noticed that the bus wasn't moving yet. Miss Teresa still had the door ajar, and she just sat there, slowly getting out of her seat, staring into the woods. After a good minute or so, we were off on our way to school after picking up a few more kids. Arriving at school, Mr. S escorted us in, which is something she never did. I remember seeing her slip into the office and talking to one of the secretaries. I went through my regular school day and I was picked up by my dad in the car rider line, as normal. When he picked me up, though, he started asking me all these kind of questions. Strange questions that he never asked me before. That next morning, my parents didn't take me to the bus stop. Mom dropped me off at school before going into work at a later time. This continued alternating drop off by my mom or dad. For the remainder of the school year, at the same time, I noticed they changed my bus stop. Years later, I found out why my bus driver went into the school that day and why my bus stop was relocated when Miss Teresa picked me up that morning. She saw a man standing in the woods behind where I was, just staring at me. She alerted the school secretary, who alerted the transportation office for the school district, and then the police investigated and found some items wrapped up in a shirt back in the woods, a hunting knife, rope, a rag or washcloth, and tape. The police never found out who that shit belonged to, but my bus driver, my parents, and the police felt certain that whoever it belonged to had the worst intentions, probably for me. I think about this often and wonder what would have happened to me if the bus driver been a few minutes late, or had she not noticed the man standing in the woods after I boarded the bus. Because of this incident, the school district changed my bus stop to be located right in front of my house. That way I could stay in my house until the bus pulled up. No more standing by the woods for me. I resumed riding the bus the next school year. Creepy bus stop, man. Let's not meet. And thanks, Miss Teresa, for probably saving my life. Hi guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, please leave a like. If you want to see more videos in the future, please subscribe. Have a good one.